Seduced by this new philosophy of unsociality, I began to focus on my most pressing desires. It became clearer and clearer that others didn't see any special, particularly attractive features in me that made me become their friend, or at least part of a group. I was quite brilliant in my studies, but at the limit of this could lead some profiteer to ask me to photocopy my notes or to lend him or her, in many cases shamelessly stealing them, my books. I was surrounded by attractive guys who just had to stop at street corners to catch the attention of other young homosexuals who asked them for any banality to start a fight, to start a conversation. The warmth of one of them would have been enough for me to breathe again, despite my identity, the secret recondite of my transsexuality. Still, it never happened to me that anyone even greeted me. I decided to look for beauty in other forms, in a more sublimated and more easily accessible aspect of an outcast like myself. I turned to Berardi, trying at least to exploit her availability in the fields less smoky and evasive than a usual Oriental style babbling. I wanted to experience music more closely than that hypnotic spell that had already saved me in the past from the agony of my moments of abandonment. I want to learn to play the piano. I want to have a dream factory in my house, which I can also access by myself as often as I want. I asked my teacher during one of our one-on-one moments in a private studio. And who forbids you? Remember, you can do whatever you want. I forced myself. I put her back to the wall. Help me then. You know I can't do it alone. Would you like to find me a teacher to teach me? To tell the truth, she took it easy. She had many friends, many admirers, and even former students who over there several given exams during which she helped them. The teacher was found, the fee was agreed, and the first fixed day. Until that first dreaded appointment, I continued to love myself with fantasies bordering on impossible, which saw me as a famous pianist, composer, and even virtuoso of international fame. That mysterious enormous musical instrument that had always seduced me was like the incarnation of an omnipotent god capable of transfiguring the world with the hidden power of his melodies. Berardi took me one afternoon, after lessons, to meet the teacher. He lived in a historic condominium in the center of Napoli, Bene, and Napoli in a rich area of Naples, and to tell the truth, he immediately made a good impression on me. He was a fairly shy middle-aged man, very kind, only concerned, understandably, by my shy and very singular attitude. What's his problem? He whispered very undelicately to my teacher while she made the introduction. I don't know exactly. I think he suffers from emotional deficiencies. I was able to catch these two lines only by chance, yet I immediately felt struck by them, as if by great truth. I didn't think too much about it, just to concentrate on a wonderful baby grand piano that my maestro had ready for me in the middle of his studio. So have you never even touched the piano? I shook my head, terrified. Start trying a few keys then. What are you waiting for? It doesn't bite you. In the end, I tried. I continued, always hesitating like a child fascinated by his new longed-for toy. Was it really that easy to make beautiful sounds with just a tap of your finger? From that first day began an adventure in the world of classical music which lasted 8 years. Between mixed fortunes, period of neglect, and other soft approaches by the teacher who made me wake the limited time I devoted to the piano due to the preparation for the exams, I was able to conquer a beginner's technique that somewhat satisfied my incessant pursuit of beauty in each of its abstract forms. It was Berardi herself overcoming my traditional distrust of philanthropism. For the first and only time in my life, we financed almost or half the purchase of my first used upright piano. Cornered by the teacher herself, my parents agreed to purchase the instrument and I transported to my room so that I could practice daily in the of the lessons. It goes without saying that they quivered with repressed anger. For them, the musical would begin and end in some easy-to-listen popular folk song. When they heard me play, they had the audacity to shut the door several times for me to spare their eardrums because of those funeral melodies. I released them from persecution only on even a new, disappointing postgraduate chapter in my life. Part of this in the next chapter. Thanks to the incredibly close relationships that I wove with my two language readers, one of English origin, the other American, I was also able to approach a method of treatment of my more traditional and apparently effective psychic weakness. It was my two new guardian angels who advised me to try attending university psychologist and then directed me to an attempt to private psychoanalysis at the office of a doctor of their acquaintance. To tell the truth, I accepted with a little lightness. I felt protected, understood, and even a little pampered by that new academic family. Between music, readings, and brilliant grades, I managed to create a muffled atmosphere that almost made me forget past violence and continuous Sunday trauma. Thus began the private interviews with psychologists, psychotherapists, psychoanalysts, psychiatrics, and all the kinds of ranges. From each I was able to draw any consideration, not at all flattering for them, separately placed for me, as well as the conclusion that psychoanalysis is only one false science that speculates on the rationalization of theoretical philosophy. It goes without saying that the doctors themselves sensed my lack of cooperation, withdrawing absently when I confronted them with such traumas, such pessimistic dissertations about my fate that I couldn't help but advise of the colleagues, or as which to lay the drastic treatments. Once I even began to use of antipsychotics, which caused me an allergic reaction so conspicuous I swelled all over my body that even mine had to surrender to the evidence that never hearsay or my rough methods. You can also kill yourself in Naples with your teachers, was my mother's usual adage. But if you died here at home from an allergic reaction, don't you think they'd blame your father and me first? In short, these first unpleasant experiences with psychiatric drugs removed me from that world, already seen with suspicion. Why, in another case, did I begin using benzodiazepines, only to realize how classic sleeping pills worsen chronic insomnia once you try to stop addiction to this type of drug. Well, next time I described the start, the beginning of a new treatment with to my family at a new psychotherapist. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video.